So if you can think back, tell us a little bit about your agency at that point.
We had one client that was paying us like $4,000 a month, but that was like a miracle. There was like no ROI we could guarantee for a client, literally nothing. I mean, I really was just a glorified videographer, like purely. As soon as we started implementing agency use systems, immediately got results for our client, which then enabled us to get 5 clients in that area really, really quickly.
Tell me about the agency now.
We're at $50K a month in MRR. Our financial lives personally is dramatically different.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another case study today. I got my guy, Zach Wood, in the house. What up, Zach?
What's up?
What's up? Cool, man. Well, purpose of this is we're going to hear a little bit about your story inside of Agency U, where you were before, what changed, and where you are now. So before we jump into all that good stuff, why don't you just give a quick intro of yourself, your agency, where you're located, what you guys do, all that good stuff.
Cool. Yeah, my name is Zach Wood. We're pretty much located in Provo, Utah. And in that area, there's a lot of door-to-door sales companies. And really what these guys do is they sell the service, obviously, but there's this big sales organization where they're constantly trying to recruit new salesmen. And these guys tend to be a little bit more flashy. And so it works perfect. We run an Instagram page for them. Then we run a system called the Authorities Funnel System that was actually taught to us by Agency U. And that's how we're able to get them new closers, new setters, new sales reps in general. And so then through social media and Instagram, we just recruit a certain amount of guys a month for these recruiters and these door-to-door companies.
Sick. So you're recruiting salespeople for door-to-door salespeople.
Yep.
And you're freaking crushing it, and I'm super pumped to dive a little bit more into that.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
But so we've been working together for I think we saw almost a year.
Almost a year.
Crazy.
Yeah. That's crazy.
270 something days. So if you can think back, like 280 days, 290 days before you saw Agency U, before we started working together, like tell us a little bit about like your agency at that point.
Yeah, we had honestly just started. So I took a big risk with the investment of Agency U, honestly. And we probably I know we had one client that was paying us like $4,000 a month, but that was like a miracle. Like it was a miracle that we got that client. And then most of our other clients weren't even real clients yet. They were just like, hey, let us do this for you for a month free, and then let's get on a contract. So we were totally shooting in the dark as far as acquisition goes. I knew how to make content because I was a videographer. I've done that my whole life. So I knew I could make something look pretty for them, but I had no idea how to drive actual traffic. Like no idea.
So you're kind of just like doing whatever the client wanted. You were just making videos. Like what was that like?
Yeah, there was like no ROI we could guarantee for a client. Literally nothing. Like all I knew how to do was create a video. I didn't even know how to get them views. And so the problem was there was constantly stress of wondering how we're going to be able to deliver and fulfill for these clients, and then how the heck we're going to be able to get more of them. Because I really was just a glorified videographer, like purely. And I had my buddy Mike doing it with me. He didn't know anything. And so we knew a lot of these guys. We had a network, so they were willing to open the door to us, but we had no consistent funneling system, no way to get actual results, or really any operating system at all either, in that sense, honestly.
Yeah. And what were you like trying to do when you were trying to figure out how to make this agency work, or if this is even something viable at that time?
What do you mean by that?
Like, were you like scouring YouTube? Were you just guessing on clients?
Yes.
Were you like what was?
Dude, I was like obsessively on Instagram. So I had been reached out to. So I got the idea of social media marketing and creating content from some guy in California that was doing like real estate videos. Because at the time I was like, we're not making any money. Like, there's no way we're gonna be able to make enough money doing this door-to-door recruiting stuff, or like making videos for people, that I should try and do real estate videos. That was literally what I was like, my goal is like, I need to start doing something on the side, because I was about to get married too. So I found this guy who was like, oh, instead of making real estate videos, do the marketing for the realtors. So he was the only person that I had, and he was like trying to get me to drop crazy money before I even had any clients. And the guy hadn't even done that much. Like the guy had done like he'd hit 30K like one time, and then like dipped out of the agency life and just went straight to
Nice.
coaching. It's like homeboy's just
Typical.
trying to coach me on something he doesn't even know how to do. And
Yeah.
so I was obsessively searching on Instagram, and then like your ad came up, and I think it was the ad that was like hit 215K a month in Brantegic, and I was just like in my head like 30K a month, 215K a month. I was like, I'd be stupid not to like approach
Mm.
this guy
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. Dope. And you did. And okay. So why don't you, if you can think back or just throughout out the program, I mean, I guess let's just go to like what you guys are doing now. Like tell me about the agency now. What are you guys doing like financially? Like how are you feeling at the agency? All that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
After working with agency, and then we'll go into more practicality of what was actually helpful through it.
Yeah. So I guess I'll say one more thing about what I was last year. We had like we were broke college students, so that we're trying
Mm-hmm.
to start an agency. So we had an agency, I guess you could say, but we were so broke. As soon as we started implementing agency use systems, immediately got results for our client. So immediately, as soon as we applied the authority funnel, like instantly got results for our clients, which then enabled us to get 5 clients in that area really quickly. Because the rest of them were like our network, but we could actually approach them and say, we have a system that will work. Here's like
Mm-hmm.
the guarantee. So we immediately got results. I would not have been able to get, I would not have been able to fund my wedding and my honeymoon honestly without making that jump, like straight up. I was like, Michael and I both got married within like the same month, and neither of us had enough money because we were so broke. A year later, we're at 50K a month in MRR. So technically it's like 65K, but then we pay out ad spend for our clients, so it's really 50K. Our financial lives personally is dramatically different. I don't have that stress. We have different issues now of like we've scaled and grown. Agency use got us all the way really from, I don't know, 5K a month to 50K a month. And now it's just, there's different challenges that come with 50K a month as well, but you guys are helping us work to, the next jump, which is 100K.
Yeah. So you went from four or $5,000 a month, pretty inconsistent, to now $50,000 a month, and you like your demeanor is like confident, like you feel confident in your ability, you feel
Yeah,
confident, like you even like on this call, like you're just like, yeah, this is what we're doing, da 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 da, like feel
yeah.
confident in our ability to scale. Like tell me more about that.
Yeah, I just think like the value the agency provides is not only an operating system to organize the agency, hiring, like knowing where to go for editors, videographers, just that whole process, knowing how to train them and build them out. Because I think one of the biggest pain points that I had back then was that I was doing literally everything by myself. Like
Mm-hmm.
I filmed, edited, I ran the ads, I did everything, and then Michael just like did anything else that I needed him to do. Whereas Agency U helped us build out a structure of an agency that where I now have employees. I mean, we're up to like with the DM setters, that's a whole nother conversation, but we're up to like 10 employees technically. And we
Mm-hmm.
still have great cash flow. Like it's not too much of expenses. Anyway, it's just so organized now that I don't have to do everything and I have a system and then eventually I'll be able to be like working on the business, not working in the business.
Yeah, for sure. So let's think back. Like, what do you think was most helpful in getting you from that 5,000 to $50,000 per month? And then maybe even like think about it in like sections. Like, okay, to hit our first $10,000 a month, this was really helpful. Okay, to hit our next $20,000 a month, this was really helpful. Then when we hit $50,000 a month, this is what was really helpful and what we worked on and what we were able to pull from Agency U.
Yeah, so there's 3 big things that I can think of immediately. 0 to 10K and a little like 0 to 15K kind of was just nailing in the offer, which that's what we sat down and talked about at first is like what are the deliverables, how much time, what's our margin, and then implementing the authority funnel to actually get good results. Just nailing down the offer is the honestly that just got us to 10K in and of
Yeah.
itself because we already had people ready to try it out. We just needed a good offer. We needed to price it out right, and we needed to then hire maybe like 1 or 2 people to handle those things. So
Yeah.
very
And
low level hiring. Well, go
yeah.
ahead.
And the offer was um, like set up to scale, not like, hey, this is what you should do and just do this. But it was like practical and it was
Yes.
like, okay, cool. Here's how we're going to delegate this. Here's how we're going to
Yeah.
scale this. Here's how much margin you could actually make if you were to hire a full team to handle this, all that sort of stuff.
Exactly. Like I knew who was going to fulfill on what segments in our little small team, and I knew that we had enough money that and that's exactly why, like, organically, just with a good offer and a good structure, we automatically, that's how we got our first 5 clients, was just that
Mm-hmm.
organic growth.
Yeah.
After that jump, it was building out the operating system. So Agency U helped us to build out that Notion operating system, then just organizing everything. Because as we started to scale from like 10 to 20K, 30K and above, we really just had to make sure that we had good systems in place, hiring out more employees, being able to train those employees, but to be able to just organize what was happening for each client was huge. And then kind of at the same time, but also like what really got us that 50K jump was working a lot with Gilberto on sales. So doing our own authority funnel, learning the sales process, and just, I mean, that's a whole skill that, again, videographers don't just naturally have.
Yeah.
Videographers just want to make the videos, but then you soon become a businessman and realize you need to sell. So mastering sales is honestly, in the last month or two, because we made a huge jump really quickly,
Yeah.
because as soon as sales was locked in, we already had the employees ready, and we had the operating system ready and the offer, that it just like whoop, and just blew up
Yeah.
really fast.
Yeah. Killer. Well, let's kind of break down a couple of those pillars a little bit more. So systems. So what were you guys doing before when it comes to systems? Like, what did that look like?
Nothing. I mean, we had systems, but it was pretty much just like in my head, really.
Yeah.
Everything was in my head. How to execute for a client. There was I didn't even know what to be quite frank, I didn't even know what an SOP was before sitting down with you and breaking things down. So the SOPs that, I mean, you already had, just implementing that in allowed me to replicate what was in my head and get it out there for the employees to actually execute on.
Yeah.
Because originally we
What was
hired.
happening? Yeah. What was happening because it was in your head?
Yeah, it was because nobody was ever executing the way I wanted them to execute.
Mm.
And training was incredibly difficult. Like trying to
Mm.
work with our creative director and our editor, trying to get them to like take what's in my head and me just tell them to do it and do it was just not working. And so we were falling short on fulfillment, and the content wasn't like, we had a big dip because I couldn't get that system to them. But once it was written down, organized, being able to train them, helping them know where they can see things and find different resources, that's when the editor got to where we needed him to be, and the team got up to where they be, where I didn't have to be like overseeing literally everything all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And what is it like now with the
Now,
operating?
now we need to hire out a little bit more, but the operating system is organized to the point where we have every client resource in one place in Notion, and every SOP and in one place. And so anybody that gets onboarded just watches the videos, gets to read up on the exact details of the client. They can watch the onboarding call. They can get to know the client instead of me having to sit down for 6 hours and explain to them the nuances of each client. It's all in there, and it's a very seamless process for somebody to be ready to go. So that like the process from strategy call to videographer filming to editor editing to then posting is like way more organized.
Killer. Sick. And then how about the sales stuff? So what was it like before working with like Gilberto and like jumping on like and having a framework and stuff? Like what were you guys doing beforehand?
So we work in the sales industry. So honestly, we just had one of our clients tell us what he thought would be good to sell. And I'm just I'm a natural salesman, I guess you could say, but I don't have the technical ability. So I was just like getting really hyped up and passionate in all the sales calls.
Yeah.
And if I was referred by someone, or if it was somebody I knew, I could get them to close every time. If it was somebody that I had never met before, I was having such a hard time closing them because I don't actually have closing techniques. I don't know objection handling. I don't know like the actual sales skills. And so then I would just fumble the ball. Like I just fumbled the ball, and that was preventing us from growing. As soon as we sat down with Gilberto, he has like the framework in Agency U, but also just his knowledge of being able to build out like, listen, this is the framework you should follow. He completely switched the pitch, like completely to where it's like, asking questions in the beginning, diagnosing, and then anchoring high with the price, and then just so many
Nice.
skills to where Michael isn't a natural salesman,
Yeah.
honestly. Michael's a builder. He's way more about systems and that stuff. But even Michael with that framework is closing consistently.
Yeah. Sick. Killer. Cool, man. This is super dope and it's super cool to hear. And like you guys are freaking crushing it. And I feel like you guys are just getting going still.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
We're going
What's
places.
been like most like what do you feel like has been most helpful inside of Agency U? Because obviously there's a lot, and people watching this are maybe like, oh my gosh, like what could I actually get from this, or is this thing legit? Like, is this like are these people legit? Is this actually going to help me? All that sort of stuff. So maybe some like insight just from like your personal experience of what's really been able to catapult you.
Yes, yes. So honestly, every time that we made a decision that wasn't at least run by you or Gilberto, we had really big freaking setbacks. Like
Mm,
honestly, to the point where we lost like 10K in cash flow
mm,
because we didn't run something by, and it just put us back months behind.
mm,
And then I mean, there was a recent experience that I'm sure you can think about that would have done the same thing, that it would have done it
mm,
all over again. But every time we follow the process, I think the principle is that you need to listen to somebody who's actually done what
mm,
you're trying to do, and not try to go off in the weeds, but just follow the process, because you and Gilberto have both already done it. So there's
mm,
no point in listening to all these like crazy Instagram and YouTube gurus all the time when you already have the step-by-step process. Just follow the process, run it by them. That's the biggest thing for me, is like
mm,
I learned so quickly, because honestly in the beginning months we were like, we want to figure this out, and we didn't follow everything step by step by step with Agency U. And honestly, we probably could have gotten to 50K like way faster if we just
mm,
literally followed the process.
mhm.
As soon as we realized just follow the freaking process,
Yeah.
then that's really when we made a big jump.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't disagree because you threw some crazy ideas to me, especially like early on. I can think of the most recent example, and then the example, there was like another example before that, and I was like, dude, just stick to the plan. But one thing that I appreciate about you guys is you actually take action. So I think, yeah, like Zach and Mike, they're at 50K a month, like recurring revenue. But the reason they are is because they take action on what Gilberto and I suggest for them to
Yeah.
actually do. So it's like we have the roadmap, you just need to follow it and then actually execute on it, and that's why you get the results that you're actually getting, which is pretty
Yeah,
freaking cool.
exactly. No, that's
Yeah.
true.
What would you say to like somebody who's watching this right now, agency owner probably, and they're thinking, okay, should I invest in Agency U? Is this legit? Like, is this actually going to help me? All that sort of stuff. Like people like thinking those thoughts, like because it is a big investment. It is a time investment. It's like a big
Yeah.
deal. It's something that we understand as like the owners of the company. Like, dude, like it is a lot, and we've invested a lot in our coaching as well. Like, what would you say to people like that who are watching that, thinking this?
Yeah, the first thing that I would say is that first off, we didn't really have that much money to finance
Mm-hmm.
for it, and there's no excuses. Like you can figure out a way to pay for it, and the time it'll save you is so drastic. Like you could try to figure it all out on your own, but if Mike and I would have tried to figure it out all on our own, it would have taken us double or triple the time. Honestly, it would have taken so long. Whereas the amount we would have spent on figuring it out on our own, or the cost of just like our what we consider our hourly rate, would have been so much higher than the cost of Agency U, that it's really a no brainer. And we understood that even when we were like, what, we had 5K a month as an agency. That if we just found the money, made it work, sold one more client, and then just paid it, and then immediately saw the return. That like
Mm-hmm.
you can either spend 2 extra years trying to figure it out on your own, or you can shortcut yourself to get to 50K so fast.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
that
Fact.
sounds like people
Yeah.
think like getting to a number so fast, that sounds like there's no way, it's scammy, it's not real. But
Mm-hmm.
if you just think about it, if someone's already done it and they literally just tell you exactly where to go and what pitfalls to avoid, then yeah, you can scale really quickly.
Yeah. And do you feel like Agency U has like the process to do that? I mean, obviously you're on here talking about that, but like do you feel like it's laid out in a way that is easy for consumers to follow, like from a
Super
product
easy.
perspective?
like so easy. Like I had no knowledge of anything and was able to follow it.
Mm.
Like especially with coaching calls, like if you are confused, you have infinite access to Slack and you
Mm-hmm.
can hop on a call where they will walk it through you. Like I just remember being like, okay, I have this issue. I wonder if agency U has a solution to this. I sent a Slack message and you guys point me in the right direction and I have a solution immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas
Yeah.
before I was like, okay, let me go watch 20 YouTube videos to see
Yeah.
what they think you should do about this certain thing. And then I just like shoot myself in the foot and spend $5,000 on something
Yeah.
crappy.
Totally. Yeah. One of the things that we love is just our product and the accessibility to us. It's like, dude, you were a message away. Like, like where else can you get something like that without having
Yeah.
to scour YouTube? And
It's
here are
most
five
valuable.
different voices. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Anything else that would be helpful for agencies that are watching this, that are listening in and considering agency you?
I would also say the community aspect has been
Mm.
pretty valuable. The group calls are always so valuable, but even more than that, like we've networked with so many people inside the community to learn and to grow and to improve. Like there's just guys with a lot of different strengths. They're all doing it there, and
Mm-hmm.
you're never gonna find that like a community where there's 100 people doing exactly what you're doing, and some of them are doing it way better than you. That not only
Yeah.
do we have you guys as coaches and all the information, if there's something that maybe like is outside of the scope a little bit, guarantee there's somebody in agency who's dealt with that problem already.
Yeah. Sick. Sick, dude. What's next? What's the next goal?
100K a month.
100K a month. How are
Yes,
we gonna get there? What's the plan, do you think?
we're gonna have agency you build some stuff out for us.
Nice. Okay. Cool.
No, but
Good to
seriously,
go.
the plan and like honestly, what we've talked a lot about is there's a certain level of systems that you can build out that can get you to a certain place, but now it's building out a sales organization, getting a
Mm-hmm.
closer, getting a sales manager, and then having Mike finally get taken out of that segment so that that
Mm-hmm.
can scale, and then having some client success manager systems where I don't have to be so much in the operations, so that
Yep.
even then I can step even farther above that. And then we have a whole list that we've drawn up with you of things that we need to tackle to now to get to 100K because it's a different game, from
Yep.
0 to 10K,
10K problems, 20K problems, 30K problems, 50K problems, 100K problems, for
exactly.
sure. Yeah.
And
Cool.
until I hit 215K in a month, like I'm gonna ask you
That's
for
when you
help
graduate. There you go.
when I graduate. Yeah.
Yeah. Sick. Well, cool, dude. Zach, appreciate you taking time to do this. Super cool transformation. Super cool to see. Hopefully, this inspires somebody as they're watching this. At least if they are watching this, they should feel fired up, man. Your story's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate it.